Hi everybody, I'm Bernstein here with another one of my quick hits videos, and this is one I'm going to enjoy doing a lot because it's about a fight I'm really looking forward to announcing. It is set for June 25th, welterweight title matchup. Keith Thurman taking on Shawn Porter, two fighters in the prime of their careers, set for a great matchup as they try and see who can move forward to look to claim some portion of supremacy anyway in the welterweight division. This fight was postponed for a little while because of an injury at Thurman, but now they are ready to go. Now, these men in recent fights have shown success. Thurman, of course, an undefeated fighter, and in his last fight against Luis Collazo, he performed very well, for the most part, dominating most of the fight using his jab, boxing more than he has in his earlier fights as he has been. However, there was a moment in this fight when some of the chinks in Thurman's recent armor, if you will, were exposed when Luis Collazo hurt him, backed him up against the ropes, and was able to look for a moment like he was totally turning this fight around and like Keith Thurman would be in some trouble. Thurman was able to navigate his way through that trouble and win the decision, but people wonder if that's foreshadowing of things to come against the very aggressive Shawn Porter. And speaking of Porter, he is off his win over Adrian Broner, who in which Porter used his jab very effectively. It was one of his best punches in the fight as he pushed Broner back, often against the ropes, and was able to pound Broner to the body and the head and sustain an attack, the kind of attack he wants to sustain against Thurman. There was for him a scary moment. It came in the last round when he walked right into a Broner counterpunch, went down very early in the round. So that was a dangerous spot. He was able to sustain through the round, even performing well in that round and getting the victory over Broner. This is a fascinating fight in terms of the style matchup. And to take a look at that, let's look at our keys to victory. For Keith Thurman, the most important thing he needs to do is stay off the ropes against Robert Guerrero, and we saw it a little bit against Collazo. When he gets pushed back against the ropes, he is sometimes in harm's way and has a difficult time. When I say plant and throw, I mean that Thurman in his last few fights has become much more of a boxer, punching off his back foot and not getting the same kind of power into his shots that he was earlier in his career. He is a boxer puncher, but with an emphasis on the word puncher. So he's going to have to stand and plant and throw some power punches at some point. It doesn't mean he's got to stay in the wheelhouse against Porter, but to keep the hard-charging Porter from getting to him, he's going to have to do that. And the countering is going to be very important. One key punch could be the counter uppercut. When Porter comes in low, Thurman has used that punch very effectively in the past. That may work for him. As for Shawn Porter, he's got to put pressure on Thurman, but it needs to be smart pressure. It needs to be pressure in which he moves his head, attacks from different angles. He can't, and most importantly, uses his jab to bull his way in, and that is number 3 on the list. So jumping ahead to that, he's got to use that jab as his way of getting inside where he can work. And part of the scenario is number 2, putting Thurman on the ropes where he doesn't have escapability, where he may square himself up and not be able to be in correct punching stance. Now, when we look at these two fighters and we look at the comparison between the two men, you know, in your mind, you think of Thurman, because he's more of a stand-up fighter, as maybe having a height and a reach advantage. He doesn't really in this fight. And Porter fights shorter. That's what he does. So he's going to want to try and get on the inside. And the other numbers very similar. As I mentioned, they're similar in age. They're both very much in the prime of their career. Now, this fight has a couple other interesting twists to it. One is the fact that it's on CBS. It is the first fight on prime time on CBS television for almost 30 years. So the significance goes beyond just the match and these fighters and how terrific it is. It will again give this fight and boxing in general a great window to the world, and I'm delighted to be doing this fight on CBS. Walking in the shoes of a couple of my great heroes, Gil Clancy, who's my mentor in the world of boxing, and his fine partner Tim Ryan, who did the play-by-play for so many years on CBS. They were the duo that did the CBS boxing back in the day. Something else that's fun about this particular fight is a special event that's going to be held on Friday, the 24th, the night before the fight, at 6 p.m. At Rocco's in Brooklyn, which is a restaurant and bar right next to the Brooklyn Marriott, not too far from the Barclays Center. At 6 p.m. on that Friday night, I will be doing a special event on behalf of Corona. And I will be giving away 50 books. The first 50 people that come will get a copy of my book, 30 Years, 30 Undeniable Truths about boxing, sports, and TV. And I'm going to be doing a question and answer period. We're going to have some video that I'm going to show about the fights. And we're going to be giving other prizes away as well. So the first 50 people that come there will get a copy of my book. And a bunch of other people will win special prizes. We're going to do some boxing trivia, and we're going to have a preview of the great night of boxing at Barclays Center. So be sure and come by on, if you're in the New York area, on Friday night, the 24th, at Rocco's, right near the Brooklyn Marriott, and you can come in and we'll have a nice, fun session. I'll be there to sign whatever you'd like, and again, the first 50 people will get a free copy of my book. So we're looking forward to a big boxing weekend for the Thurman Porter fight on June 25th.